you are fake news. Go ahead.
Welcome back to FLT, All Things Truth, episode number
9.
Number 9. It's a Beatles reference. So let's start this thing off with our quote of the day. Quote of the day comes from Justice Ruth Ginsburg. She just passed away last night. American legend, whether you disagree or agree with her, she was on the left. She was a legend. She got a lot of things done. A lot of progress was made under her leadership. This is her quote. I just saw this last night, and I couldn't agree more. It says, the United States is not represented by the eagle, but by the pendulum. When the pendulum swings too far in one direction, it will always go back. You cannot disagree. That's well said.
That's powerful.
You see it every 4 to 8 years in these elections.
And the thing I liked about Ruth Ginsburg is she was a true liberal. She, not these liberals nowadays that shout you down if they disagree with you. It was okay to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And so, prayers go out to her family, and she was a very wise woman.
What? Right. Next, we have the fail of the week. Fail of the week. None other than the fail king, the gaffe master, Joe Biden. Joe Biden gets in the town hall meeting, walking around like a grumpy old man and doesn't know where he is. He's like an old dog that looks in the mirror and gets scared of his own reflection. We've mentioned this on the show before, how Biden always claims to be, by 2030, if you elect me, I'll be carbon free. But his son sits on a board in Ukraine, gets paid $90,000 a month for a fracking company, the biggest fracking company on the planet.
Yep.
And he's talking about being carbon free and no fracking. So Anderson Cooper says, okay, you want to be carbon free, but what about in Pennsylvania? We got this new fracking company now under Trump that is playing by the standard, the rules, the regulations, doing it nice and safely, and they're not causing disturbances in the environment. Would that continue too? Are these people going to lose their jobs? No, they're not going to lose their jobs. We're going to keep doing that too. And so Anderson Cooper's like, well, which one is it?
Yeah, he's on both sides of every issue.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. That's a fail.
Fail.
That's my favorite. All right, so let's move on to the hero of the week. And this was coming from San Mateo. A woman just had a child, most likely was suffering from postpartum. She was having some mental difficulties, and she was trying to drown herself, submerge herself, commit suicide. So they send out social workers to try and negotiate with her and talk her down, and they fail. And then the San Mateo police step in and rescue the woman. Yeah. So those San Mateo police officers, you are the hero of the week.
Yep. And I just wanted to mention that story came at this time when the discussion is about, if we defund the police, who's going to come to these calls? And then the left, of course, is saying, well, if social workers, they're well equipped to handle with these people. And we just saw a prime example of a social worker going to rescue this woman from her mental anguish and fails. She almost dies. She almost kills herself. And the police show up and save her.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is that the police are also trained for situations like that. So, of course, they try and talk her down first. Right. They try and do all that, anybody that's going to commit suicide or jump or whatever. So they're trained in all of that. But you're not going to be able to talk everyone down. No. You're not going to be able to de-escalate every solution, every situation. So the police are trained in that as well. They're going to try.
At some point, swift action has to be done.
Exactly. And that's the difference between a police officer and a social worker.
Yeah.
If a social worker, if the negotiations fail and they can't talk the person down, they're like at a loss. They're like, I don't know what to do.
The social worker's not going to jump in the water.
Exactly. The cops will actually step in and they'll act and they'll do what needs to be done for whatever the situation calls. So that's why, once again, it's showing that the police are not the enemies. The police are not the bad guys. The police are the heroes.
It just shows you how people on the left, they don't even realize that they can be told any talking point that sounds completely ridiculous and doesn't even make sense to even a liberal, but they'll still repeat it. And they'll say, "Oh, that's what everyone's saying."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, CNN said that. So oh yeah, maybe we should defund the police. Oh yeah, and it's like, wait, you're talking about defunding stuff. This is the liberals. This is this is the side that wants to fund everything.
I know.
They want to defund the police.
Yeah.
If you were talking about reform the police, make it like whatever, like we can all agree on that. But defund the police?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
If anything, they need
There's no
more
argument.
funding.
Yeah, there's
they
no
need
argument
more
there.
training.
Yeah.
They need more,
right.
more
which
access
would be
to,
which would be argument for reform, and that's
Exactly.
fine. Everything should have objectively be reformed and be better. That's fine.
We need our police officers. If we want to live in a civil society, we need police officers.
Right.
They keep the peace. They get the criminals off the street so that law-abiding citizens can go about their everyday lives.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know you're with me on this, but we back the blue. We support the police, and we want to refund the police.
And you know what's funny about that? I always think about this too. People I talk to on like Facebook, social media, they assume that I'm just like that because I have this argument that they assume that I've never had any run-ins with the police, that I just had an easy life and my white privilege got me through everything. And I've just been handed a great life on a platter, and it's actually the exact opposite.
Well, they must not know us very well.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't understand that a guy like me has no reason to like the police.
Yeah, I've been arrested multiple times.
Yeah, I have. My past will tell you. I've had physical things done to me with the. I'm not gonna get into details, but I easily, if I wasn't the intellect that I have, I could easily be on the left saying, "Defund the police. They're mean. Oh, they hurt people. Oh, they."
Yeah.
But it's not true.
Yeah, we've both.
It's not true. Your actions get you in situations. Period. You can make your life better. You're not going to have you're not going to tell the government to change other people and make other people better for you. It's not going to happen. You have to change yourself. It has to come from within.
Yeah.
So whether that's finding some sort of power greater than yourself, I don't know. You have to find it on your own. You have to find your own path. But you're not going to get a better world by changing everyone else, by making the government do things to change everybody else. It's not going to work.
You need to focus on you and your house first. Get your house in order before you try to go and change everybody else. So I do want to say, though, just like you, I've had multiple run-ins with the police. I've been arrested multiple times. And what I can say, though, is every time that I've had a situation to run with the police, some were just a traffic stop, some were actually where I got arrested. When I treated them with respect and came at them in a calm manner, calm demeanor, they treated me the same way.
Right.
If I was having a bad day and I was being hostile towards them, then they would reciprocate that same vibe.
Right.
So that's why nowadays everybody hates the police and, resist, don't comply. And then they wonder why there's all these issues. It's because these people are immediately being combative with the police, even when they're 100% in the wrong.
Right. Dude, I just saw in Seattle a bunch of Black Lives Matter Antifa people going after the police, calling them house N-words, calling them Uncle Toms, because most of these cops are black.
Well,
a lot of these inner city cops are black.
Whatever neighborhood you're in, usually that's what reflects how the majority of the police in that area.
Right.
So if you're in a minority area,
but you're
usually minority police officers.
I'm watching these kids, right? These kids, and there's a lot of black kids, there's a lot of minorities, there's also a lot of white liberals too, and they're screaming at these cops, they're pushing them, they're poking them, in my day, if you did that, you're getting slammed on the ground and tased. And it's not happening. It's the opposite. Everything that their left is saying is up is actually down. It's actually the exact opposite. They're not going around killing people. The statistics show that there's actually more white people getting killed by police than black people.
Yeah.
And when you say that, people automatically flare up and get all mad. It's just a fact. It's just a number.
Yeah. So
it's not me that made that up.
Going by 2019 statistics.
And 18.
You had, I'm just going exactly off 19. So 2019, you had 9 unarmed black people killed by the police. You had 19 unarmed white people killed by the police.
That's not a lot.
So more than double. Now, I always hear the argument, well, that's because the majority of the United States is overwhelmingly white. Only 13% of the population is black. So, okay. But now, let's look at that a little bit further. Now, okay, maybe only 6% of the U.S. population is black males, but that 6% commits over more than 50% of the violent crime in the United States. So, obviously, logic says the more violent crimes you commit, the more hostile run-ins you're going to have with the police.
Right.
So if you go by that, they're committing more than 50% of the
They're
violent crime.
getting killed.
They should have more unarmed black shootings, and that's not what's happening.
They got people thinking that there's actually people being lynched.
Yeah.
Completely innocent people. Didn't do anything wrong. They're just walking down the street, and the cop just decides, I want to kill that guy because he's black.
Which
is
is
not happening.
No, it's a complete lie. It's a complete
not
false
even happened
narrative.
once.
Yeah, it's a false narrative. It's 100% lie.
Yeah.
It's
And by the
100% BS.
way, 19 and 9, and then this year it's like what, 7 maybe. That's not a lot of people. There's people getting arrested every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like literally, while we're doing this podcast, count 1, 2, arrested, 1, 2, arrested, 1, 2. That's how many people are getting arrested by police right now, and they're not dying.
Yeah, you're talking about 19 white people killed unarmed by the police, 9 black people. We're talking about 330 plus million people in the United States.
Right.
So
now I want to get into the next thing. Why do we talk about this? Why is this a big deal? Why should I even mention this, right? Am I a racist for saying this? No. The reason why I mention this is because it's so dangerous to talk about this stuff, to form the minds of kids and tell them that police are out to kill them when they're not. And this is what it leads up to.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to get into the?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
this is a direct result of saying the police are bad, the police are evil, the police are all awful. The police need to be defunded, the police need to be arrested, they need to be jailed. By throwing around that mentality and by teaching these kids at a young age this, you're going to have attacks on police. And we have 2 LA deputies. They're sitting in their police vehicle, just sitting there. They're parked. An unknown man walks up to them, ambushes them, shoots them both, and let's call it what it is. It was a straight assassination attempt.
Yeah.
He walked up. It's not like, they were trying to arrest him and he fought back. So, yeah, this was an ambush. This was an assassination attempt, and we're going to show you the clip right here.
I'm going to show you the clip followed by people that were in the area that witnessed it. Let's show what they did, too.
Yeah, so warning, this is a little bit graphic. We're going to show you the clip.
Go ahead.
Just aired the police out. They just aired the police out.
This the only
It go up and come. Them just got aired out, cuz. They just bust on them, cuz. That's crazy. They just got aired out. Somebody ran up on the car and bust on it right through the.
We are out here at St. Francis Hospital where 2 of America's most notorious gang members have been brought to. We're going to go up here and just check on these murderers right here. We're down here. Excuse me?
No, we're coming to visit someone.
No, you're not.
We can't go visit nobody?
You can once we confirm who it is, but there's no visitation allowed anyway, so you gotta go.
All right, y'all. You see what's happening right here, right? They got these pigs.
Protesters also showed up at the hospital last night. According to the sheriff's department, they blocked the emergency room entrance and exit and were yelling anti-law enforcement rhetoric. 2 arrests were made. 1 man who failed to disperse and a member of the media. She has since been released and said she will make comments later. Now,
death to the police, killed the police, and they were using all type of curse words and derogatory terms about the police, just provoking our police officers. Very unacceptable behavior, because the hospital should be a sanctuary where we should leave hospitals alone.
It's just like I can't, and I'm not. It's horrific and it's disgusting and it upsets me.
What gets me the most is the media response to it. First of all, it's not even being really talked about that much. I actually went out of my way to message a few of my friends that are liberals and ask them what they thought about this, and they were like, "What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? A cop got killed?
Yeah,
Like, how do you not know this?
It's disgusting. And people that are cheering this on, and the people that blocked the ambulance bay to the hospital that those 2 LA
They both
deputies
survived,
were,
right?
They both survived.
Yeah.
One finally did get released from the hospital. Yeah. The other is still in the hospital.
It's horrible.
So thank God they lived. But the people, obviously the man who did it, they still haven't caught him. What he did is disgusting.
Right.
And the response to
the people
by
that
the
were
witness
around
that we just saw.
Oh, cuz they just aired him out, cuz.
That was disgusting.
Like, that's your response.
And
You're
then
laughing about this.
The people that are laughing
people
about
are
it,
brainwashed,
or
man.
the people
brainwashed.
they blocked the ambulance bay to that hospital that they were taken to,
Yeah.
and they were saying, death to the police, let them die.
Yeah.
We hope they die.
Antifa, Black Lives Matter protesters were blocking the ambulance from getting to the hospital while these cops were trying to literally fight for their lives.
And those people that were protesting and saying, "Let them die. We hope they die. Death to the police."
Are they both white cops?
I believe.
I have a feeling that one was
a 31-year-old mother. It was a female police officer.
Oh wow!
The other one was a 24-year-old rookie who was a male. So yeah,
dude. The reason why I bring that up, and I know the media is not saying who these people are, and I almost makes me wonder, why are they hiding who these people are?
Well, I think it's to protect their identities.
And what if
somebody might try and finish the job?
What if one of them was a minority?
Well,
you know how horrible that would look to the left.
Yeah, I think it's just because
they're killing their own people.
Because of the response.
David Dorn's the prime example of that.
Because of the response by the protesters, let them die. We hope they die. Death to the police. I think they're worried that someone might try and go finish the job. So I think they're keeping their names under wrap. Yeah. But we do know one's a 31-year-old mother, a female. Yeah. One's a 24-year-old male, rookie.
No, you're right.
So he's just on the job.
You want to know why you're right?
He gets ambushed.
You want to know why? They probably saw the person, identified him easily, and they want to go and end him. So they can't say nothing.
Yeah, so it could even be, like you said, it could be the gunman who wants to finish him off, so they can't testify against them.
People, right?
So it's just anybody that supports this, anyone that thinks this is okay, anyone that says that all cops are bad and they deserve to die, you are a coward. You're disgusting.
Yeah, you're a scumbag.
Yes,
that's really
Let's just call it what it is.
Seriously, you're either so intellectually weak that you have to get filled in by opinions of whoever, CNN, to tell you what to think, and you can't think on your own.
Yeah.
Or you're just a scumbag and you understand these concepts and you still decide that that's how you believe.
It's one or the other. They both are horrible. You're either an idiot, you're just the dumbest of the dumb, or you're just a scumbag and you're disgusting and you're a coward.
Are you watching that many movies that you can't? Reality is gone from you.
What?
So all you do is watch movies all day, and the good guys and the bad guys. Oh, the evil cops and the innocent people. Oh, no, that's not how reality works. That's movie. That's fake.
What really upsets me though is that even though this is awful, I'm not surprised because the media they've been forcing this false narrative on people, and that's all they've been playing on a loop. Was the George Floyd death and Jacob Blake and you actually look into those and they were both criminals and they were both in the wrong. And George Floyd's autopsy revealed that he overdosed on fentanyl. Yeah. And Jacob Blake had a weapon and he had warrants out for rape and he was violating a restraining order.
It's like we're in the Twilight Zone.
So I mean, those people are being shown as heroes when they're
getting millions of dollars too. I know. The families, millions.
They were both criminals. They were both in the wrong. George Floyd didn't even die of asphyxiation. He died of fentanyl overdose.
In 2020 in America, you can literally be a criminal, be on a warrant, and you can get paid millions of dollars by resisting arrest.
But these Democratic politicians that have been pushing this false narrative that the police are bad, the police are evil, the police need to be taken out, and the mainstream media as well, they're the reason that this happened.
Academia?
They're the reason that this happened, and they're the reason that this is going to keep happening. Yeah. And then what really speaks volumes is that they refuse to come out. They don't even show this barely on the news. And they refuse, the Democratic politicians refuse to come out and condemn these people.
Right.
They refuse to speak up because they're worried they're going to lose their vote. And they worried that the far left mob is going to go after them next.
Right.
And so they're just so evil and wicked, these Democrats, and they just don't care. All they want is power. And they really don't care who they have to step on, what lives they have to ruin to do it.
They're actually teaching kids in school right now. Like there's videos that they show these kids that it's like they're all all minorities that get arrested are all innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. This is all just racial profiling. All of it. 100%.
And it's just so it really is disgusting. So they kept attacking Trump. They said that Trump refuses to condemn the white supremacists, which he actually did
over and over.
So they lied and said that he didn't condemn them, which he did multiple times. But now there's nothing. Why are the Democrats and the politicians not condemning these actions? Why are they not speaking up? Why is the media not showing it?
By the way, there was 2 people in 2016 that the media had to keep pointing at because they supported Trump. One of them was Spencer, whatever his name is, white supremacist, Spencer something. And then the other one was David Duke, the KKK. Well, now Spencer is coming out and saying that he wants to vote for Biden because he can't stand how Trump is focusing so much on black unemployment and funding black colleges.
Exactly. Yep.
So
if Trump
so
was
what
a
are we
white
arguing about?
supremacist,
Yeah, what are we arguing about?
then he would have that guy's support. And obviously, if that guy's upset and wants to vote for Biden, he knows that the true racists are the Democrats,
Right.
and that's why he wants to vote for Biden now. And he knows, wow, Trump is lowest black unemployment rate. The First Step Act, like all these things that Trump has done to help the minorities and to help the black community.
Yeah. Literally going against his ideology. He's not, but now he wants to vote for Biden. He thinks
Exactly.
He actually thinks that under Biden, white people are better off.
Yeah, because
he's a white supremacist.
Because we know that the Democrats are the party of the KKK. The
Yeah.
Democrats are the party that founded Planned Parenthood. The eugenics. They wanted to
Right.
take out all the black children, and it's just the Democrats are the ones that fought for slavery, fought a bloody war.
Vote for us, and we'll give you welfare and phones
yeah.
and.
So I mean,
you just live in the suburb. You live in the projects forever.
It baffles
You'll
me.
never make it anywhere. Just vote for us, and that'll be your life.
I say it all the time, but it just baffles me that people called the Republicans racists when the Democrats, people don't know their history. That's the thing.
Right.
You look back in history, the Democrats are 100% the racist party.
Yeah.
But they just lie so much that people start to believe the lies.
Yep.
So they say, oh, the Republicans are racist. The Republicans are racist. The Republicans are racist. And every 3 years, right when there's going to be another election and they start campaigning, they bring that up again. After the election, they don't say anything.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. So and then 3 years go by and then, oh, the Republicans are racist. They're racist. They're racist. If you don't vote for Democrats, you ain't black.
More questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
I mean, just like Biden said, it's like...
Or poor kids are just as good as white kids.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids.
Just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Like...
It doesn't get any more obvious.
Yeah,
man.
he showed his true colors right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he truly believes.
Right.
Unbelievable. Biden is just a gaffe machine.
Right.
You need a gaffe. You need, you're having a bad day and you need to laugh. Just watch any Biden video of the last couple of years. It'll lift up your spirits and make you laugh.
Dude, these white liberals they're standing on their ivory tower. It's literally the biggest problem in America today is these white liberals that are completely brainwashed.
Yeah.
And I say that and it sounds like, oh, he's just like, what is he talking about? Brainwashed. Sounds like a conspiracy. But check this out. A lot of these kids come up in the suburbs, right? They get taught all this nonsense about identity politics. They go right from the university to their nice little job, and they live in these nice little areas in their nice apartment, in their nice house. And they just never worked a tough job, never got on top of a roof, never poured concrete, never did anything, never lived in the city or like in the inner city, or don't have hardly any black friends, and they want to tell everyone else how we need to socially be.
Yeah,
they have no clue. They're completely out of touch.
They live
in a fake world where they just decide these concepts that are not real. And they just decide that this is how we need to be. Oh, you're all racist and I'm not.
Yeah, you look at Antifa, and they're almost exclusively white, wealthy kids. Like you said, grew up wealthy.
Yeah.
Never,
they just want free stuff.
Yeah, they don't even know any black people.
Never had to get anything. They just want give me free stuff because I exist. Therefore,
and
you have to pay for me.
Because they grew up wealthy, and a lot of them have influential families and stuff. They think that they're at the top.
Right.
And so that's why they think, oh, I'm the one that decides what's racist. I'm the one that decides that this is white privilege, right, and this is this and this is that. They really think that they should call the shots.
It's funny because a lot of these come from parents that are business owners, and like they show you, like you right in front of you as the example of what to do in life and how to make it. But then you want to look back and look at, because I'm different than everyone else. Everyone else must be racist. So therefore, I should fight against racism.
Yeah, it comes back to culture,
right?
And that's what they've been doing with the academia and the media for decades now.
You look like spoiled kids from rich families that hate their parents.
They've been brainwashed.
That's what it is. America is the parents, and liberals are the spoiled kids.
It's true. For decades now, the academia and the mainstream media has been brainwashing these kids to be far left radicals.
Yeah,
I mean, it really has.
Really, and you know where really it's coming from. It's not coming from America. It's coming from the United Nations global foreign policy agenda.
Coming from George Soros.
Yeah,
he's funding a lot of that.
That's what all these academic programs are coming from. That's what the media. That's what the narratives in the media are coming from. They're coming from a global entity.
What people don't understand is that America is the land of the free and home of the brave. That's why people escape Marxism and socialism and come here to be free. So you have all these countries like China and Russia, any communist country, any socialist country, they hate America.
And that's where their logic...
They want America to fall. And that's what China and Russia, a lot of this stuff, this chaos and like the news cycles and the stuff you see online, this is actually attacks from China and Russia. They want us to look like an unstable country. They want us to look like a racist country. They want us to look like a bad country. They want America to fall.
But that's where a lot of their logic falls apart, is that they'll say how America's so bad. America's so racist. Everyone's in the streets protesting and rioting. Oh my God. But then it's like, okay, so then we talk about immigration, and they think everyone should be allowed to come here, and everyone should be allowed to get welfare. Everyone should have a right to vote here, and there shouldn't be any issues with immigration, right? Well, then what? That doesn't make any sense. Either America's bad and no one wants to come here, or everyone wants to come here and America's great.
Yeah.
It can't be both.
America is the least racist and the greatest country in the world. And that's just shown by the actions. People want to come here. People escape to come here. People risk their lives to come here. And they did polls. The U.S., Canada, and UK are the least racist countries in the world. The rest of Europe and the rest of the world is actually very racist. Yeah, they really are. Like you have these countries like Switzerland and like the Nordic countries. They're almost 99%
white people walking around telling people that we're not racist.
They're homogenous completely. They all look the same. They all talk the same. They all have the same ancestors.
Dude, South Africa?
They're all the same, and they do not want diversity.
Here, real
quick,
don't want
it.
Let me just show you something while we're talking. Look at this. Look at these photos right here. This is South Africa protests. These are black people saying death to whites. South Africa is the most divided place in the world, right? Complete racism on both sides. They hate each other. The white people there hate the black people there. Black people there hate the white people. They just hate each other because of these narratives, right? Now, Trevor Noah comes over from South Africa. He escapes that, comes to America, gets handed a job as a host on a late-night TV show. Everyone loves him. His name is everywhere, but he still wants to bring that mentality over here, that white people suck and that we're all oppressive to them.
What I hate is that people escape.
I can't stand Trevor Noah.
Yeah,
he's the worst.
Yeah, he's
Dude,
awful.
he just every night he's just on TV lying.
Well,
just making stuff up.
All those late night hosts are like that.
Yeah.
They're all just an extension of the mainstream media. They're an extension of the propaganda arm of the Democrats.
Right.
And so these people, though, they escape the horrors of their country. They escape their countries that's awful to come here. But then they want to bring their ideas here.
Right.
Wait, if your country was so bad and you had to escape it to come here, then why would you want to bring your ideas here? And why do you think we want your ideas here?
And what makes you think that the division going on in South Africa or Somalia, for example, like Ilhan Omar, what makes you think that's going on here? It's not going on here.
It's not.
You are trying to make it seem like it's going on here.
It's just another lie.
And people are believing you because they don't see it.
Another false narrative.
Right.
And you know what? How we were talking about how the mainstream media is not really talking about these 2 LA deputies that were shot and the assassination attempt when they were ambushed, and the politicians aren't condemning it and they're not talking about it. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Ilhan Omar. Some people did something.
Yeah.
Like they refused to acknowledge what happened and they refused to talk about it. They refused to condemn it. And that's just like what she did.
The truth is, people hate America because they're not in America. So they hate that. That's a weakness right there. It's a mentality of weakness. When you have so much jealousy for the other side that you hate them and want to kill them. That's what she's basically showing. She's failing to admit that. So she's saying she wants to minimize it and saying some people did something and therefore we're all going to pay for it. And it's like, no, that's not some people.
If that's all she could say, that's all she could get out, as far to acknowledge what happened there.
I think she liked it.
It shows you exactly. That's what I was going to say. What she really wanted to say and what she believed in her heart was, I'm glad
America deserved it.
I'm glad America deserved it. I'm glad that we struck your Twin Towers.
By the way, if you think that I'm crazy for saying that, a Young Turks reporter, I can't remember his name, is an idiot, complete moron. First of all, if you work for the Young Turks, you're an idiot. This is what he said.
Power is the exact same as hard power. Soft power, embassies, diplomacy, exact same thing as military bases. I can't do this. I can't do this. This guy has the understanding of foreign policy of like a 12-year-old. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave fucking soldier, fucked his eye hole with their dick? Isn't that how he lost his fucking dumbass eye? Because he got his fucking eye hole fucked? America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
Right there. And the Young Turks, by the way, gets a lot of funding from Qatar.
Yeah, of course they do.
It's the biggest hypocrisy on the planet are these people on the left, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying. That's why we do the show, basically.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
all you got is Fox News, right, on cable TV. I mean, on the internet and all, and there's Breitbart and there's all these other. There's The Hill is pretty centrist.
But as far as like mainstream media,
there's nobody giving perspective anywhere besides the internet.
Well, in Fox News, they're even super careful. They're unwilling to say certain things too.
They're a corporation in New York City,
of course. So they're unwilling to say certain things too, and that's why we do this, because nobody is really speaking up. Nobody's calling them out for what they are. Nobody's bringing you the facts. You're getting pushed a false narrative and lies, and people are buying them. They're eating them up.
Yeah.
It's just, it truly is just, baffling to me. It's like, why do people that know nothing about politics act like they know about politics and try and get involved in politics? Like, if you really do care about politics and you really do care about making this country better, shouldn't you do your research? Shouldn't you, if you don't want to spend any time looking into stuff, then don't get involved in politics.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
They don't know the facts. And that's why we're trying to bring these facts, because a lot of these facts you're not going to find anywhere.
Right.
Unless you really dig for them. They're out there, but they're hard. A lot of the stuff's hard to find.
Yep.
And because the mainstream media is pushing a completely different false narrative and an agenda.
Yep.
So let's go to break.
Yep.
And then we'll be right back.
Yep.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's unique presidential debate. Due to the candidate's unwillingness to leave his basement, Joe Biden will be joining us via remote live feed. Joe Biden will be debating one of his most vocal and ideological opponents, Joe Biden. Let's begin. Mr. Biden, as president, what is your plan to address the violence and riots which have taken over our streets in America?
There are two basic steps here. One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people.
So do you believe in a stronger police force, Mr. Biden?
No, nor is it acceptable for our police sworn to protect and serve all people to escalate tension.
So do you want to defund the police, Mr. Biden?
Yes, absolutely. The last thing you need is an up-armored Humvee coming into a neighborhood. They become the enemy.
It is great, sir, to finally have you on the record supporting the Defund the Police movement.
I not only don't want to defund the police, I'm the one calling for $300 million more for local police.
Moving on. In Joe Biden's America, will there be a national mask mandate?
Every single American should be wearing a mask.
So, Mr. Biden, you would support an unconstitutional mask mandate?
No, I'm a constitutionalist. You can't do things the Constitution doesn't allow you the power to do.
But you are in favor of an unconstitutional nationwide lockdown.
I would shut it down.
Would you also support unconstitutional infringements on our Second Amendment?
Bingo. You're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period.
Sir, that directly violates the written word of the Constitution of the United States of America. Do you know the Constitution? Can you name a single line from a founding document?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Mr. Biden, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Joe Biden administration?
No, we would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
So, Mr. Biden, you are in favor of banning fracking?
I am not banning fracking. Let me say that again. I am not banning fracking.
So just to get that clear, you are keeping fracking, Mr. Biden.
You got to transition away from it. Look, you're going to ban fracking all across America right now, right?
I would love to.
Yeah, I'd love to too. I'd love to make sure we can't use any oil or gas, period.
Can that little teeny angry bald man you're talking to please get off the stage? Mr. Biden, once and for all, are you in favor of banning fracking or no?
No. I never told the environmentalists that I'm going to ban fracking, period.
So you are in favor of fossil fuels?
Look at my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
Mr. Biden, what are your views on marriage?
I'm the first major player to say I support gay marriage on national television.
So you do support gay marriage, Mr. Biden?
No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage.
unnecessary to throw President Obama under the bus like that? However, this answer is interesting. It is very out of touch with the progressive wing of your party.
Marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that.
Mr. Biden, President Trump was the first president in American history to support gay marriage from his first day in office. What do you say to President Trump?
Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Well, President Trump is building a border wall at the border. Do you support his border wall?
So there are places where having a fence and extending the fence makes sense, and I voted for that. So it makes it more difficult for people taking large commodities and drugs to have to come around for us to be able to intercept.
So you agree, Mr. Biden, that walls work and we should build more walls?
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration.
Okay.
And
stop. Moving on.
The fact is that
Mr. Biden, switching gears here, what was your stance in voting for the war in Iraq?
I voted with my colleagues to give the President of the United States of America the authority to use force. And I would vote that way again today.
So to confirm, you're proud of your vote for the war in Iraq.
I made a mistake. I said it 14 years ago. I trusted George Bush to keep his word.
In light of the Me Too movement's popularity, do you believe all women?
The woman should be given the benefit of the doubt and not be abused again by the system.
Given that answer, Mr. Biden, do you believe the credible sexual assault allegations made against you by Tara Reid, which have been corroborated by multiple witnesses?
This never, ever happened. I don't know what is motivating her. I don't know what's behind any of it. But it's irrelevant. It never happened. It never happened. Period.
What is your stance, Mr. Biden, on reforming our prison system?
It should be a rehabilitation system, not a punishment system.
So, Mr. Biden, you are in favor of rehabilitation instead of prison.
We don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release.
Speaking of prison reform, President Donald Trump passed criminal justice reform in a historic move, giving him one of the highest approval ratings in history from black Americans.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Sir, that is just racist. Have you been tested for cognitive decline?
I've been tested and I'm constantly tested.
Well, it is good to know that you have been tested for cognitive decline, Mr. Biden.
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh?
In closing, can you please tell us a personal story that is meaningful to you, Mr. Biden?
The kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
That is horrifying. Mr. Biden, can you please explain something that happened on the campaign trail that you learned about the American people?
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
That was racism. Thank you very much for joining us for this illuminating presidential debate with Joe Biden versus Joe Biden. We hope that you learned about as much as we learned tonight about the candidates' many fascinating and racist and disturbing positions. Choose wisely, America. And Democrats, my heavens, what the hell have you gotten yourselves into? Good luck and good night.
And welcome to FLT, All Things Truth. We're here for the second half, and we got into a lot of social talk in the first half, and that's really what's going on in the world today. So, I mean, there's really no reason not to discuss these topics. But last night, a person passed away who was a very known political legend, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She got a lot done. She was the rolling force behind the whole liberal movement in America. I can't say I agree with a lot of things a lot of her ideas, but she always was professional. She always was a decent person. You know, she wasn't dishonest. She had her beliefs and she fought for them. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially in America. This is what America's all about.
Absolutely.
But I want to show Trump yesterday. He was coming from somewhere, going somewhere. I don't know what transition he was doing, but he gets out of his helicopter, and the press is there, and they're like wolves waiting to eat and get a gotcha question on him because they know that Trump disagreed with her on a lot of things. So they wanted to get him on some like quick little response that makes him look bad. So right away they ask him, "Oh, what do you think about her passing away?" And his response was just perfect.
Yeah, let's show it to him.
Yep.
She just died? Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time. She led an amazing life. What else can you say? She was an amazing woman. Whether you agreed or not, she was an amazing woman who led an amazing life. I'm actually sad to hear that. I am sad to hear that. Thank you very much.
It was just. What do you want? Like, do you want like that? You can't get it. Like, you can't get a better response.
It was
than
a
that.
great response, and they thought like, oh, he's flying from here to here. He's not going to have time to prepare. We're going to catch him.
Right.
We're going to get his true feelings. We're going to, we're going to make him look so bad.
They thought he was going to say something related to the election, how it helps him, and like they thought they were going to get him to say something stupid, but he didn't. It was very natural. It was very.
Yeah, it was honest.
Heartfelt.
It was off the cuff. You could tell that he didn't prepare a statement or anything.
Yeah, see, today probably happened already. There's probably Biden response, probably written down with a teleprompter right in front of him, telling him, "Justice Ruth, the Darth Vader, huh? You know the thing."
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing. Go. You know.
And then everyone's going to see it, and we're all going to laugh at it. But the media is going to be like, "What a great thing Joe Biden said. What a great leader he is."
He was just so choked up from her death.
Yeah.
That's why he made all those blunders and mistakes.
Yeah.
It wasn't because he's mentally incompetent.
Right.
It wasn't because he doesn't even know where he is.
Had brain surgery in 2000.
It doesn't because he's missing half his brain. It's because he was so choked up. Him and Ruth were just best friends, and she mentored him. And
That's great.
yeah, he's just so hurt. He just can't think. He just is besides himself. That it's crazy.
It's probably going to happen too.
It's how they cover for him and how they spin things for him. It's just unbelievable. And then the complete opposite with Trump. How they spin everything he says.
Yeah,
they take 5 seconds.
He couldn't have responded any better. They're going to say, "Oh, he should have said more."
Yeah.
Or he was fake. That was
unbelievable.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I mean, so Ruth, I mean, I was thinking about this last night. So she was 87. She passed away finally. And I was thinking about this. She was one of the, like I said it earlier, she was one of those true liberals, agree to disagree, but everybody has a right to free speech. I wonder if I could have ever sat down with her recently and asked her, like, what do you think about the liberals today? They don't believe in freedom of speech anymore. I would have liked to see what she thought. Like, she kind of created a monster.
I also think that she understood what was going on because that quote that I started the show off with, about the pendulum swinging too far one direction, the timing of when she said that was when Trump got elected. So she was basically, a lot of people think she was talking about we're going too far to the right, so don't worry, it's going to go back. But I think she was referring to we went too far to the left, now we're moving back.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask her, like, do you agree with what they're doing? Because who knows, she might have distanced herself from them now because they've become so radical and so far left.
To be honest, in my opinion, you're right. You're right 100%. Who knows what she thought? But she did. She was very critical of Trump, but for once, I'll give you an example. When he was running for president, one of the things she said was, "I could not imagine him as president." But she also apologized for that because she understood that half of America was behind him. She wasn't ignorant to the fact that there was reason why he got elected.
Yeah, she knew the people spoke.
Yeah.
And she was okay with that.
That's why that quote came out.
That's what that quote
meant.
Back in the day, that's what true liberals were. They might agree, they just might have disagreed with you, but they knew you had the right to free speech, just like they have a right to free speech. And they would have a debate and a sit down and a chat with you, and they would be respectful, and they would listen to both sides of the argument, and that doesn't exist anymore. Now, the left says it's hate speech and they shout you down.
Right.
They won't have an intelligent conversation, and that's because they actually don't know about the facts and they don't know about these issues. All they know is the talking points.
Right.
That's all they know.
Yep.
They chant the same chants over and over again. They say the same things that are being fed to them, but they don't actually know the issues. They don't know the facts. They don't know it in depth. So I guess that's why, because they are like, if you question them on something or you dispute something they say, they don't know how to respond. So I guess they have to shout you down.
Yeah. And it reminds me of, not outside of her, the way our media is now, with shutting people down and trying to smear people. So this weekend alone, we've seen a couple examples of that. Number one, Joe Rogan. So the idea has been floating around lately that Joe Rogan, who is the most centrist human being known to man, like he should be in the dictionary next to the word centrist. He's very liberal in so many areas, but climate change and criminal justice reform and stuff like that. Then he's also on the right on a lot of things with gun control and taxation. A lot of things he just bounces. He is the type of person, he doesn't care about Democrat, Republican. He's going to tell you what he thinks.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of people are saying maybe he should be the moderator of the debates between Trump and Biden.
He would be a good one.
He would be a great one.
Because he's not
very critical on Trump and Biden.
He doesn't walk either party line.
No.
He's like independent, like libertarian. He believes what he believes. Sometimes he's on the left, sometimes he's on the right.
Yeah, he talks crap about both.
Absolutely.
Whatever, that's fine.
And that's what you want. You don't want a biased mediator, biased moderator.
So The View, the View is the worst show in the world, dude. They're just the most complete, ridiculous, lying, full of crap show that you could ever imagine.
And they don't know politics either.
No, they don't. So what do? They come out and say, should Joe Rogan be the moderator? And she says, here, I'll show the clip right now.
We are 49 days from the election, and some Democrats worry that Joe Biden is playing it too safe and needs to find ways to get his message out to voters. Who just agreed to let podcaster and UFC commentator Joe Rogan moderate a presidential debate. I mean, is this a good move for anybody? And is this a good move for Biden? What do you think, Meg?
No, I don't. I think it would be inappropriate for Joe Rogan to host a presidential debate. I mean, I think given his use of the N-word, I think given his comparing a black neighborhood to Planet of the Apes, given the fact that he has called a transgender woman a man, I think all of that disqualifies him to be the host of a presidential debate.
So, by the way, none of that's true. All of that is a lie. Joe Rogan never used the N-word against black people. He never called. All that was all made up. Like, there's not even. I was scouring the internet trying to find something that made her think that. Completely a lie. That's the worst thing you can do. Like, okay, for example, the Trump and the grab him by the whatever thing. Okay, we have something there, right? There's something that happened, so you can make an opinion based off it. Whether you think he's a bigot or you think he was talking locker room banter, that's up for you to decide, because there's a video to watch. You can see it. With Joe Rogan, nothing.
He should go after her for slander.
It came out of nowhere.
That's slander.
It really
you just make stuff up with no facts behind it.
About Joe Rogan.
That's slander.
You want to know why, though? Because lately, in the past couple months, Joe Rogan has been completely bashing Joe Biden lately.
Well, rightfully so.
Why not?
I mean,
it's the truth.
He doesn't know what cities he's in. He's obviously has a mental decline. Right. He obviously has Alzheimer's or dementia, which is on set from his 2012 brain surgery.
So The View, who is clearly an arm of the Democratic Party, no doubt about it. That's what they are. That's their job right now.
Yeah, it's
Whoopi Goldberg and whatever her name is. They're the worst, dude. They have these guests on and they just try to smear them. It's 5 people on one. They got got John McCain's daughter.
Oh yeah.
What's her name again? Something McCain.
Yeah.
Leslie McCain, whatever her name is, posing as a conservative. I'm going to be the conservative voice of The View. Not one thing as she ever said that's conservative.
Yeah.
It's all liberal talking points.
It's all just a lie.
So,
it's like they're going to set her, they put her in there as like a plant.
Donald Trump Jr. on the show. He's decimating them with his arguments. They don't even show the second part of that.
I don't want
want to have a country like that. Do you understand
We've
that?
all
They
done
don't like
things.
the vessel or the semantics or the tweets.
See, there he actually had to stop her himself.
Or the semantics or the tweets. But nevertheless, look at the results.
We've all done things that we regret. I mean, if we're talking about bringing a discourse down, Joy, you've worn blackface. Whoopi,
No,
you
I
said
haven't.
that Roman Polanski.
I'm sorry, and don't.
You said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape when he raped a child. So let's
okay.
talk about
So,
serious
let's
things.
talk.
Vicious left that's running a one-sided chant thing. Adam Schiff who's doing a one-sided thing. Joy, you've worn blackface here because he's an outspoken guy.
Same thing. Whoopi Goldberg walks off in the middle of the show. They didn't show that either.
5-1, and they get decimated all the time.
They get 5-1. They get crushed.
Yep.
They don't know what they're talking about. They're liars.
And then they just edit it all out because they don't want to look bad.
Dude, who was on there? Somebody was on The View. I can't remember who. And the crowd was cheering for that person because they were making some really good points. And what does Whoopi Goldberg do? Here, I'm going to play that real quick too.
All right, there goes Whoopi. Because there's people in the audience clapping for a point she doesn't like, she calls everybody children and claps like she's some authoritative teacher over everyone else, and they're so out of line because they're clapping for a point. This is the second time this happens, and they just lose their mind. Look at it. Behart loves it. Stop yourselves because you're clapping for a point that she doesn't like. Nice.
What you saw there is Whoopi Goldberg is controlling her crowd, telling them what to cheer for and what not to. If they were cheering for her, do you think she would shut them up? No. She would not.
She's awful.
She's the worst.
Yeah,
dude. She's telling
the
crowd. She's telling the crowd to be quiet. Stop cheering because you're cheering against my talking points. Like that's like these people. Why do you think they support fascism?
Yeah,
that's why they support that mentality that this way works, the other way doesn't. Therefore, they should be shut down.
You know why? Because they're at the top. Right. And they want to be in control of everyone else. So they know that only the people at the top eat in fascism and when it's communist, socialist, everybody else is poor.
Yep.
So it's
So also, this week happened, Steven Crowder is having a live stream during the town hall, and he gets a strike. So YouTube can take your live stream off if you're not against community standards. They can give you a warning. They can do when you get a strike, that means your channel can be literally deleted.
They could delete your channel.
Like he got the worst thing you can get just for having a live stream. And why did he get that? Because he's bashing Joe Biden.
They've been censoring conservatives for so long.
Dude, it's getting really bad right now.
I might have mentioned this on a previous episode. I'm not sure, but Anomaly, they did it to him.
Yep, it's been happening.
They banned his live streams
Stefan
for Facebook.
Molyneux, Alex Jones, everybody.
30 days they banned his live streams from Facebook.
Yeah, dude, it's in the last year. Alex Jones, Stefan Molyneux. Okay, these are the farthest right people you can think of, right? And if you don't like them because of their ideas, whatever, you don't have to watch them. But to shut them down for talking for ideas, this is not America.
No,
dude.
that's not freedom of speech.
No,
if it was freedom of speech,
I really think that.
And these platforms are supposed to be neutral.
Right.
They're supposed to be unbiased.
Right.
And they are so far biased left.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. The left can lie. They can say whatever they want, and they will never get shut down. They will never get a strike. The right just tells facts and facts and facts, and they don't like those facts, and they give you a strike. They ban your live streams.
Here's the double standard, though. Netflix comes out with this show called Cuties, right? And what they do is the main character is a Muslim girl, a young 10-year-old Muslim girl.
Yeah, they're 10 and 11-year-old girls.
Losing her religion and learning the American way of the liberal freedom and equality, and don't ignore your family roots and your tradition. That's bad. That's evil. You need to be like us. You need to smack each other's butts and wear skimpy clothes and
it's
go into the whole pedophile agenda.
It's so
Dude,
disgusting.
I couldn't even watch it. I watched little clips of it. People showed me. What? This is it.
They're sexualizing 11-year-old girls.
You ready for this? You ready for some complete failure by Netflix? So the show on Rotten Tomatoes gets a 90%. Now we know Rotten Tomatoes is not by the people; it's by the editors.
Yep.
But they also have two polls on Rotten Tomatoes. One is for the people. The other one's for the editors. The editors gave it a 90% because they're a bunch of whack jobs.
Yeah, the critics.
The people gave it a 4%.
Yeah.
That means 96% of the people that watched it thought it was disgusting.
So
stupid.
I don't know if you saw this, but when Netflix was first advertising the movie Cuties,
Yeah.
the first poster they came out with was disgusting.
Yeah.
They were all posing nasty, like they were sexualizing these 11-year-old girls.
Right.
This was a pedophile's wet dream.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Also, the description of the show was disgusting. So people were outraged. They said, "What is this? What is this poster? What is this description? You're sexualizing these girls. Right. Pedophiles are going to, they're going to keep this stuff." Yeah. And so they said, "Oh, it was a mistake." Wait.
No,
maybe a misspelling is a mistake. How do you...
Right.
You don't mistake an entire poster.
Now they doubled down and
you don't mistake an entire description, the overview of the show. So what they did was they went and changed the poster and changed the description and overview of the show, but it's still awful.
Well, now they've doubled down and said that right-wingers just don't understand us. You guys are just intellectually not there with us, and you just don't get it. Well, but check this out, though. You know Ali. One of my best friends, his name's Ali.
Yeah.
He's from Lebanon. He's married. Him and his wife are Muslim.
Yep.
And I asked them, "What do you guys think about this? This is up your alley. The main character is a Muslim girl getting indoctrinated by these little kids that are a bunch of sexual demons, basically."
Yeah.
Dude, they were disgusted. They were all outraged.
These girls are twerking.
Dude,
and
they cannot believe
dancing sexually, and
it's funny because the left is these people are the ones that claim to stand for Islamophobia, against Islamophobia and the Middle East and Syrian refugees, and we're the ones that are compassionate, and you guys are the ones that hate the Muslims. But really, I'm asking my friend, dude, what do you think about this show right here? He's outraged, disgusted by it, that people would depict a Muslim girl to be losing her religion and going into these lesbian little 10-year-old girls, basically.
So
that's demonic.
Their defense of it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't show a rape to say rape is bad. You don't like, that's what they were trying to justify it and say. Right. Oh, we're talking about the sexualization of young children. We're talking about...
No, they're promoting it.
Exactly. So, like I said, you don't show somebody get raped to say that rape is bad. You don't show somebody shooting up and overdosing to say that drugs are bad.
Do you want to know why I know they're full of crap and they're really promoting it and not showing that it's bad? Because just recently, in California, there's been some legislation being passed that's making it... the people on the left in the LGBT community, the ones that are completely... Not the normal ones, but the ones that are completely gone mentally, they're saying that laws against pedophilia are oppressive to the gay community because LGBTQ community is more likely to have relationships of older men and younger men that are under 18. So they want to make that legal.
Yeah, so they want to make pedophilia like homosexual and heterosexual. They want to make it a classification.
It's crazy.
Which would legalize it.
I just want to hear one person give me an idea of why I'm in the wrong for thinking this.
No, you're not. This is insane.
It's insane.
They're trying to legalize pedophilia. They're trying to give it a classification which would give them legal protection.
Yeah. People are sick, man.
It's disgusting.
They're sick in the head.
And QAnon is just like cheering, like, we told you, and everyone called us conspiracy theorists about this whole pedophile ring and all this stuff going on. And then you see it
QAnon first
happen.
came out, I was like, these people are kind of weird. Every single day that goes by, they're getting more and more vindicated because it's not even like they're giving them points. Like they're just giving them freebies. Like, oh yeah, we want to legalize pedophilia. Oh yeah, by the way, there's been a ring that just got arrested of 26 people and all these kids got saved.
Yeah, I mean Epstein, happens. That vindicated. Now this
whole... We were talking about Epstein before.
California trying to legalize and classify pedophilia as like a sexual classification.
They call that Ellen DeGeneres. They call that Ellen DeGeneres before she got in her little scandal.
I don't know if you saw, but Wayfair, did you see that? What happened with Wayfair,
What's
the
that?
website that sells like furniture and stuff?
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw
That's
these
crazy.
one-of items. Yeah. Every single one of them, the name of the furniture
we talked about on the show
matched a missing child's name.
Yeah,
and they were outrageous prices, like a pillow.
Yeah.
That was like $10,000.
Right.
And
here's what it was. So there would be a pillow that would normally, as on the same website, being sold for $10, being sold for $13,229.
And it would be renamed.
So, but here's the thing. Then you would look at the numbers, and it would be an address to where the girl was abducted at.
Well, and in the description,
the numbers meant something.
But in the description would be
too.
a name. The girl's name would be in that description.
Right.
It'd be like a longer description.
Well, they would
and
name
in there,
the pillow.
They would have a name.
Yeah.
And then, but also, if you looked at like the background of whatever the item was, there was a book on a shelf that was about like selling body parts.
It's crazy.
And they put it through a computer, and they could see that book was actually added. It wasn't actually there in the picture. They actually photoshopped it in. So why would you go out of your way to Photoshop certain things in there?
Yeah,
they
there's
have a
something
meaning.
going on with that.
Well, clearly these pedophiles and these child sex traffickers, they have a system in place, and only the people that know what they're looking for know what it all means.
Yeah.
And so Wayfair took it all down, said it was a mistake.
Right,
Like,
that's
always a mistake.
That's the thing. If this was all just a conspiracy theory and QAnon's a bunch of nut jobs, why would you take it down?
Exactly.
Because if there's nothing there, if this is all just an imagination, we're all putting numbers together that don't really exist. Because anybody can play with numbers and make things happen, right? But if that's the case, why are they taking it down?
And then right after
as soon as they took it down, now you know something.
Right after that, there was these NFL, it was either NFL backpacks or NFL sweatshirts or something. My wife sent it to me. And in the photo, like in the backpack, the NFL backpack, was pictures of children. I was like, she sent it to me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And guess what? They took it down right after that.
It's weird, man.
If it was just, like if it wasn't really there and you were just seeing things, or there was no correlation, it was just, oh, it's just, a coincidence.
Right.
Why would they take it down?
Yeah.
So it's just weird.
Well, I just wanted to mention. I wanted to talk about cues just a little bit because I wanted to show the differentiation between what the editors thought about the movie and what the people thought about the movie, and I think that matters because I think this election we're going to see the same thing. CNN and MSNBC and the Democrats think this is a landslide. Trump's going to get crushed. It's all over. Don't worry. The 4 years is up. We're done. But they really are about
the
to
movie
be.
critics are weird.
Yeah.
The weirdest movies they give great, ratings, and then like a movie that I'll watch that I think is great, they just say it's terrible.
Oh yeah, just
and
look at
vice
the
versa.
Oscars. Look at who wins the Oscars. These movies are not that good.
No,
they have okay, I'll give you this. They get good directors. They got good production. They got the best cameras in the world. So the film, the picture itself, the quality wise,
looks good.
Unbelievable. Yeah. All these movies.
But like what they're about, and
but then you watch them and they're all just like social mind bending, brainwashing crap.
Yeah.
It all has to do with some minority who is in a bad position, or a gay person, or an LGBT person that needs to rise up from the oppression. It's all the same. Yeah. Every year, the movie that wins the Oscar is all the same.
And all the TV shows all have an agenda in them now.
Yeah. Hollywood's gone.
It's shot.
Rest in peace, Hollywood. They're gone.
Yeah.
They have lost all of their. They don't make movies to be good anymore. They make movies to push a narrative on people that is not even real. Yeah. Like in a lot of these movies, they'll be like, it'll have like a cop chewing gum, like, "Hey boy, get over here, boy," and they're like, "Get out of the pool. The pool is for white people only." And they depict these characters that are not real. And people watch movies all day. Yeah. That's all they do is watch movies and play video games. They don't know anything, idea what's going on in the world. And Democrat, the United Nations are good. They want to help people. They have no idea.
Mainstream entertainment, like TV shows and movies, is gone. It's shot.
Yeah.
All they do is pander and virtue signal and show these false narratives and just further push these false narratives on the American people and on the world as a whole. Because most of our stuff makes it throughout the world.
I was watching Law and Order, and there was a character in one of the episodes. Her name was Allison Acacia Cortana. It was like the most obvious. She had dark black hair. She was tan. It was the most obvious depiction of Alexandria Cortez.
Yeah, of course.
But they said it wasn't. It was some politician in New York, and her name was a little bit different.
This is a completely fictional character, not based on anybody.
They depicted her as like the smartest, most on point, like amazing person, just going around and saving everybody.
And then they'll say, "This is a completely fictional character, not based on anybody."
What you trying to? You're drawing a comparison? Oh, that's on you. You thought that she's like that. No, I'm not stupid.
All right. Well, let's move on to. I want to talk about Trump and
UAE?
A lot of these schools.
Okay.
Have been teaching the 1619 Project.
Yeah.
Which is completely false. The historians have said this is not true at all. This is pseudo history. So 1619
Yeah.
Project is where
Actually,
they try
there
and
was
say
5
America was
historians
founded.
that won Pulitzer Prizes that came out against 1619 and said, this is not true.
Yep. So these schools are teaching that America was not actually founded in 1776. It was founded in 1619. And from 1619 on, the country was founded and built on slavery, and America's terrible. It's been terrible since 1619. And so, which is all complete
That's
nonsense.
England you're talking about.
Yep. We were a colony.
Yeah.
We had no
Why
had
do
no
you think
freedoms.
we had a war?
Exactly.
To fight that.
So Trump
So
came out.
They just handed us a softball, and we just hit the home run.
Trump
Thank
came,
you.
Trump came out and said, okay, schools, you want to teach these lies? You want to teach kids to hate their country and not
Right.
teach them the truth that this country is great? Then we're going to cut your funding.
Yep.
So, which he should do.
He's 100% right.
We should not be in.
Now, the first reaction is, I thought you libertarians don't like the government getting in the way of academic. Well, no, we don't. But we don't want them to lie to people.
Exactly. So if we want to remove the government completely from education, then fine. But if they're going to be involved, then they need to be teaching the truth.
The truth.
They need to be teaching real history, real math, real science. They should be teaching facts only. They shouldn't be teaching some pseudo history, revisionist history.
There's 3,000
lies.
genders. Well, there's only one gender, but if you want it to be 10, you can be 10. So it's all a social construct. You do whatever you want.
So Trump,
Science isn't real.
Trump should be slashing their funding if they want to teach this garbage.
Right. Yeah.
Which he should.
Oh, yeah. The
And then
chromosomes,
also-
the XY chromosomes that makes you male and female, ignore that. That's not science. Science is you decide what you are.
And then he also did that with the schools and then like governmental jobs and stuff that were teaching critical race theory,
Right.
which is another garbage theory. And so he did the same thing.
Which is what's causing the division in our country.
Absolutely.
Right now,
So he said, okay, you're not going to teach this anymore. We need to teach our children a true American history. We need to teach that our kids that this is a great country. It's not a racist country. It's not a bad country. It doesn't need to be blown up. We need to teach them that our founding fathers were very intelligent, great men. They founded documents that other countries have copied. The Constitution is probably, one of the greatest documents ever.
time.
And other free countries, when they won their freedom, they based their entire country on the Constitution.
Yeah. Not only that. Because so when the Constitution was being put together by Washington and all them, in Europe, you had Napoleon, who wrote the Napoleonic Codex, which was pretty much the exact same thing. Now, since then, they've ripped that apart in Europe, and they've added things and took things away, and they've lost their way. They lost the liberty movement that we had. France and America were the two that really enlightened the world. Napoleon and Washington. Now, with Washington, people don't realize that, to add to what you're saying, right? You said a lot of these countries based their constitution off that, and they did. But also here in America, the progressive movements, the real ones that actually made a difference, like the ones that desegregated black people and gave women the right to vote, those are ideas that came from the Constitution itself. People pulled up the Constitution. Wait a minute. This isn't fair here. Women should be allowed to vote. Wait a minute. Black people should be allowed to. Wait a minute. It comes from the Constitution. The Constitution set up progressive ideas.
Yeah.
So people who think the Constitution is somehow some racist document and that we need to shred it up, well, hold on a second. Is it not true that the Constitution is what gave you your personal rights that were given by God itself?
Yes, exactly. The Constitution, that's the big difference. The rights are not given to you by your government. The rights are inalienable rights given to you by God, and then the government is just set up to protect those God-given rights. And that's exactly what the Constitution was set up to do.
Right.
So we should be teaching our kids, this is a great country. We should be teaching them the true American history.
It's the greatest country
we
in the world.
should be teaching them to be patriots. And then Trump gets killed by the mainstream media for saying, he says patriot, and they lose their minds. They try and draw parallels to Hitler and Stalin, and wait a minute. Well, this is a great country. We should be patriotic as long as we're going by the facts, which is what we're doing. If you're going to lie to your people and feed them propaganda to make them patriotic and nationalists, that's a different story. Right. That's what Hitler and Stalin did.
Yeah.
They used lies and propaganda for their people to rise up and become patriots. And so,
and another thing, if Trump was racist and a nationalist like Hitler, why would he care about making peace in the Middle East? Why is the UAE deal? He gets nominated for a Nobel Prize, and the first reaction of the left is that This isn't real. It's just a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's just a photo op. It doesn't matter. Are you kidding me? How come every other president has tried and failed to strike peace in the Middle East between Israel and any of the Arab nations?
Right.
Every single president has said, we're gonna make peace in the Middle East.
And guess
We're gonna
what?
make peace in the Middle East. We're gonna make peace in the
And
Middle
guess
East.
what?
And they all failed.
And guess what? The Constitution is what brought that into fruition, because we see the Middle East, we see Israel as a place that matters. Okay, especially Trump, and he wants to do what's right in the eyes of God and what's in the eyes of nature. Is that peace needs to be done. So the Constitution has your rights by God, and the world should live by that. And every country should be able to decide for themselves what their policy is, what their tax rates should be, and it should not be United Nations coming in and telling everyone what to do.
Yeah, and they hate on Trump for being America first, but think about it. These other countries, they're all for themselves too.
Right.
So why should we not be America first? Why should we not want to take care of and build our country up strong first?
Right.
We need to maintain a free, stable country, a thriving economy. We need everything we need to keep building up ourselves so that we have the funds and the power to help out the rest of the world. If America crumbles, we're not helping anybody.
Whoa, hold on. Breaking news, guys. I'm sorry to cut you off. This is breaking, though. Where'd it go? Package sent to Trump. This just happened right now as we speak, as we're filming. Authorities are investigating a package sent but not delivered to President Trump that contained poison.
Ricin.
Yeah.
Which is what the Russians used.
Wow.
So, wow.
So this is what happens when you make a peace deal in the Middle East and you cut taxes and you deregulate the world and you make the world better. That's what happens. They try to kill you.
Yeah. If you're a nobody and you're a terrible person, and then they're not going to try and that it doesn't make sense. If Trump is so bad, then why does everybody attack him? It's ridiculous. He's on his own. That's the thing. These elitists, they want globalism. They don't want America first. They want globalism first. They want one world government, one world religion.
He needs
control
to go.
the people.
That's what they're saying. He's got to go. He's doing too much.
He's standing in their way.
He's doing too much.
I mean, at every turn, he's standing in their way, and he's reversing. They've been doing this globalist agenda for many years, and he's reversing all of this stuff. And they're like, "What the heck? This guy's setting us back decades."
So,
wow.
We'll investigate that further, and we'll end on that note, just to show you what. It really just proves what we're talking about.
I know, it's crazy. So, all right, thanks, guys, for watching. If you like this episode, if you haven't already subscribe, like it, comment, share it. God bless you, and God bless America.
is the star-spangled